So after going through a lot of reading slumps this year, I decided to take matters in my hand and take upon a challenge of reading 7 books in 7 days. But I did not expect it to be so difficult as I'm a very slow reader and I would have to compromise my very precious sleep for this. But I certainly did not expect this to happen. Hello. So I just cannot believe I have read for 7 days. But was I able to finish this challenge successfully or not? You have to wait for the end of this video. And I have never read this amount of book in such a short span of time in my entire reading journey. So this was quite a good experience, and I would like to take upon this challenge again in future. But at this moment, I am kind of relieved that this challenge is ended because every day when I wake up in these 7 days, I have kind of this timer in my head that this is day one, this is day two, and I have this many books to finish and I have to do this more. I was also working, so it was kind of difficult to manage the both. So if I was not working, if I was free for the all the 7 days, then I think it would have been easier. But nevertheless, I had so much fun. In today's video, I am taking a very interesting challenge of reading 7 books in 7 days. Currently, it sounds very ambitious to me, but I am going to try my best. So quickly, I will show you what all books I have planned to read for this challenge. The first book is an ebook that I'll be reading. It is called as The Sound of Waves by Yukio Mishima. Is Famous Five and The Missing Cheetah. So the third book is The Five People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Album. The next book is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. The next book is like a default one for me because of course, I want to read one Agatha Christie book. It is called as Black Coffee by Agatha Christie. Next two books are actually my current reads, but I'm not doing much like good progress with these books. So hopefully with this reading challenge, I will be finishing this very soon. The book is A Man Called Uber by Frederick Buckman. And last but not the least is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So this is the first book that I have picked and I will finish it today. So yes, I am super excited. So let's get straight into reading this one and I'll share my thoughts whenever I feel like or once I finish reading.
Keep it low key, keep it softly spoken, with no strings tying you to me. I'm happy in your company with no emotion, cause my love deserves to be free. I never wanna look.
Hello, so reading update. Today is day 2 and so far I just have completed one book. It is Book Lovers by Emily Henry and it was certainly very good book. I think these are the romance books which I actually like, which have a certain like plot to it and the characters also were very like interesting. I liked the overall setting of the book, the banter between the two characters, they were constantly flirting with each other. That was very like sweet to read. The main character is Nora. She is a literary agent, and she lives in New York. She's very like workaholic, you can say. So our story starts with a vacation in some small like town, which is inspired from the book that they like so much. So her sister and Nora, they go on a vacation to this town, and there she meets Charlie. He's an editor, and yeah, then basically they start talking and they actually work on some project together. So the rest, it is a romance book. Really liked how each character, like both of the character had their own different stories going on. They had some past or something that they are dealing with, that is very well handled in this book. Chemistry between the two characters is very good. There is spice, but it is in like moderate amount. Overall, this book was very good. This was first book by Emily Henry that I read, and definitely I would like to read more books by her because I really loved the writing style of this book. So yes, I have rated this book as 4 stars out of 5 because in between the book got little boring for me. There was nothing much happening. So yes, that's it for book lovers. And now I will pick up the second book. And I just hope I finish all the 7 books in 7 days because literally I have just taken 2 days to complete one book. But still, I will try my best and let's see how it goes. Hello, so quick reading update. Today is day 3 of a 7 day 7 books challenge, and at this moment, I'm not sure whether I will be able to complete the challenge because so last night, that was day 2, I completed this book called as Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and so good, and loved it. So basically, this was the biggest book of them all. So I've done that. So it's a good thing. And I've started the second book on day 3. That is Black Coffee by Agatha Christie. So this is 182 pages, and I have targeted to finish this by tonight. So far, I have just completed 50 pages of this book. I also have the audiobook for this, which is like a added advantage. So if I listen to it on 1.5x speed, which is like a very normal speed, so I will be able to finish the book within like 2.5 hours because the audiobook is very interesting. So let's see, I will update you mostly by tomorrow in the morning. When I finish this book, I will share my thoughts on it. And yes, that's it. So let's read now. Hello, a quick reading update. I finished Black Coffee by Agatha Christie, and it was certainly very good book. So what I like about Agatha Christie's books is that how in few number of pages, like this is literally 182 pages, she manages to, grab your attention, keep on the mystery element, and you just cannot, once you start reading any book by her, you just could not stop reading it. But honestly, if I compare this book with other books by her, this was not that good. I don't know if it might be because I kind of predicted the killer, and it turned out to be true. And it might have, taken away that little fun, like that little mystery element out of it. But all in all, it was a very like good read. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So coming back to this book, this is a very famous Hercule Poirot mystery, and in this there is one scientist who has lost his formula, which is written on some paper, and get lost. So he calls Hercule Poirot to solve that mystery, like who has taken away my formula. So before Hercule Poirot arrives, the scientist switches off the light of that room, and there is total darkness, and he gives one more chance to whoever has taken that formula to keep it, like to bring it back again to him, and he won't take any action against him. But in this particular incident, there is a murder that has happened. So now Hercule Poirot has to solve it, and it was certainly very like good read. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My ratings for this book are 4 stars out of 5. Hello, so I'm changing my setting a little bit because I'm making my breakfast right now. But I also wanted to talk about the book that I finished yesterday. It is The Four Agreements by John Miguel Ruiz. So let me start by saying I did not quite like the book. Um, so these days I'm a lot into self-help, and I actually heard good things about this book. So I was not expecting it to be like this. But I don't know what was the reason, but I certainly did not connect with the book at all. The writing to me was very basic, and I felt like the author struggled quite a lot to just prove a point, and there was a quite a deviation between, he was stating one point and I did not quite understand it, and again he, moved on to the next thing that he was saying. And talking about the four agreements that are mentioned in the book, those are nothing new. We already know these points, and I felt like those were not, explained very well. So I did not quite connect with it. Well, I was slightly disappointed with this book because there was a lot of hype going on. For this, like people are saying this book changed their life and it is very, very good. So I did not like understand it. So I wouldn't say this book is totally like worst, very bad. There were some points which did make sense. Really appreciated that this book was only 182 pages, so you can just fly through this book. I literally finished it in one sitting, so I'm all good. So I would rate this book as 2.5 to 2.8 stars. Hello, so this is day 6 and I'm totally exhausted right now. I feel so sleepy, but reading update. So today I finished this book called as The Five People You Met in Heaven by Mitch Albom. So essentially, this book is about this old man called as Eddie. He dies in an accident, and when he goes to heaven, he meets five people over there who might be strangers or his loved ones, and they have certain conversations through which we get certain revelations as to why they are, connected. So this book is quite very thought provoking when you actually read those conversations. This is the second book by the author that I'm reading, but if I compare the two books, I liked the Tuesdays with Maury more than this. But this was definitely a very like good read. I have rated this book as 4 stars, and yes, I pretty much liked it. I'm still processing my thoughts around it because just today evening I finished it. But yeah, really liked it. So, coming on to the next book, today I picked The Famous Five and the Missing Cheetah today. Just hoping I don't fall asleep and I actually finish this book because there are two more books which I have to finish by tomorrow, and I'll get back to reading now. Okay, so I just finished reading The Famous Five and The Missing Cheetah. This was very interesting and mysterious and easy to read, and it did made me feel very nostalgic. And children's books are so easy and fun to read, and it just have put me into a very good mood. The Famous Five is a mystery novel surrounding five characters, out of which four are cousins, and they have a dog. So altogether they become a famous five who go and solve mystery and quests. This is a very well known children's novel. There are a lot of books in this series. In this particular book, their cheetah, who is their pet, goes missing. He's kidnapped, and they are on a journey to find their cheetah and get him back. So there is this professor who is working on some formula, and the kidnappers are demanding that. And yes, all in all, it was a very good read. I have rated this book as 4 stars out of 5. Now, as today is the last day, I have two more books to go through. One is the ebook, it is called The Sound of Waves, and the second one is Man Called Over by Frederick Buckman. And it's a good thing that today is holiday. So I have all the time in my hand, and I'll just go through this book and let's see if I finish the 7 days in 7 books challenge. Fingers crossed. And now let's get back to reading. yes, I cried like a baby. I just cannot believe this because it's been a while, like quite a lot of time where I cried reading a book. I think the last book that made me cry was Thousand Splendid Suns. But Mankolova, those were happy tears, those were hopeful tears, and the overall feeling of that book, I just cannot explain. This has to be one of my favorite reads of this year, and I just loved it. So get yourself a copy and just read Man Called Over. It is so, so, so good. So basically, this book surrounds a man, an old man. His name is Uwe. He's living alone in the city, and for like till the mid of this book, you will kind of get little irritated because Uwe is this typical old person who is very grumpy and he just complains about everything. So he is irritated with everyone around him. He will scold anyone if they are not abiding to any rules or anything is not according to the system. And basically, there is this, generation gap. As the book progresses, you feel so much of sympathy for Uber, and your heart will be full. And with time, you will understand the value of Uber and how he impacted the neighbors around him. Particularly, I like the instances with his wife and how those were the typical grumpy and sunshine, uh, you know, couple that was very very heartwarming to read. And yes, I 100% recommend this book to you. Please read it. It is very good. I have no doubt I have rated this book as 5 stars out of 5. Now coming to the next book, which is the seventh book, and I started this book on the seventh day at around 9 p.m. or something, and unfortunately, I did not finish that book completely. I have read 50 to 55% of the book, and then I slept. And I was awake till like 1 or 2 a.m. I think, reading that book, but unfortunately, I could not finish it. I fell asleep. I was totally exhausted because the seventh day was quite hectic. Because in the morning, I finished half of the book, which is the famous five. Then I started Man Called Uber, which is around 300 pages. I read it uh, and finished it around 8ish. And then I started the next book. Next book is Sound of Waves. And as I was totally exhausted, this book is quite slow and it was not grabbing my attention that much, so my sleep won at the end and I fell asleep. I feel bad for that, but no matter what, I had so much fun. But yes, I wanted this video to be realistic, so I'm sharing my journey throughout the week. But I had a lot of fun, that matters, and I'm really happy that I kind of finished the 7 books. So now it is time to rank these books. So although I have not like completely finished reading The Sound of Waves at this moment, but whatever part I have read, like 50%, based upon that, I would rate this book. I would rank this book at number 7 for now, but I'm sure and I hope that my views on this book changes when I actually finish that book completely. On number 6, we have Four Agreements by Don Miguel. On number 5, we have The Famous Five, wow, and The Missing Cheetah. So for number 4, I've slightly confused because I think I have rated both the books as 4 stars. For number 4, I'll go with Five People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Number 3 is Black Coffee by Agatha Christie. And rank number 2 is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. And yes, the best book, The Man Called Uber by Frederick Buckman, is number 1. And yes, those were all my ratings, and I successfully announced that the 7 days of reading challenge is finally ended. I had so much fun shooting this, and do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to read them. And with that said, I will end the video right here. If you have enjoyed watching this video till here, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And yes, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.